Hey, this is Andrew, and welcome to Digital Nomad Journey, where we support digital nomads and remote workers seeking the laptop lifestyle and to be location independent. Welcome. I'm going to do a quick audio check here because you never know with technology. Oh, yeah. We got a bit of a delay here. Looks like the intro was cut off. So I'm going to start over again. My name is Andrew, and welcome to Digital Nomad Journey, where we support digital nomads and remote workers seeking the laptop lifestyle and being location independent. Welcome. You got to love technology, right? You got to love technology. Sometimes these things don't work exactly how we plan them. Anyways, this is episode number 11 of my new-ish live stream Q&A series. I created Digital Nomad Journey at the beginning of this pandemic because I felt like I had to do something. I felt compelled to give back and to help where I can, where I'm strongest, where I'm best suited, where my core competencies lie. And I'm proud to say that I'm obsessed with getting my paws on the very best content with regards to optimizing your lifestyle as a digital nomad, or becoming a digital nomad if this is something that you've always wanted to achieve. If you've always wanted to achieve that location independence, because perhaps, especially over the craziness of recent months, perhaps you feel like you're being left behind, or you feel like you're painted into a corner and you don't have many options available to you. You might find being a digital professional, like a virtual freelancer or a digital nomad, you could be an employee, you can be an entrepreneur, what have you. You might find that flexibility brings you that freedom of choice that you're looking for. So today we're going to talk about what is the best and easiest way to become a digital nomad. This is an area that I certainly pride myself on, but really quickly, before we dive into things, just a couple housekeeping aspects. I usually do three live streams a week, every Monday, Wednesday, and Friday. However, I'm not sure if I'm going to be able to maintain that moving forward. I've got a big international flight next week and juggling a few things. I think it's probably more realistic for me to shoot for 2 live streams every week, where I'm going to make myself available to all of you to answer your questions. If you're here live, make sure you drop right here. Make sure you say hi in the chat. Let us know where you're coming from. And if you're watching the recorded version of this, you can leave your comments and questions in the comment section below. I think I'm probably going to drop back to 2 live streams a week. Next week, I'll go live on Monday and hopefully again on Wednesday. I'm not exactly sure if I'm going to be able to pull that off because it's a crazy week and I'm flying to Canada on, I'm actually flying to London, spending a night there, and then flying to Canada the next day. So there's a lot going on. So I will try my very best to go live for you next week, more than once, but it might only be once next week, and then the week after, hopefully I'll get back onto a regular routine. But I have a relatively small and new YouTube channel, but that's no excuse. I still want to show up. I still want to make myself available. So if you're here live, and even if you don't care about the subject that we're talking about today and you got some questions, I'd be happy to answer your questions. But this is one of the more common questions that I've seen online. I've had DMs sent to me over social media, and I've seen this question asked in various mediums and in various platforms. And if you don't feel comfortable publicly commenting on YouTube, feel free to contact me on any of the social media channels where you'll find Digital Nomad Journey. I'm active on all the major channels. I'm either Digital Nomad Journey or Dig Nomad Journey, and you'll be able to reach me. Okay, so drop your questions in the chat if you have any. We're going to start with number 1: reduce and/or eliminate expenses, cut out unnecessary bills, reduce your outflow to a bare minimum. I have this at step 1 because everything else just seems to fall right in place if you're able to get this done first. Most people, I'm generalizing when I make these kind of statements, but most people will have some kind of regular monthly bill that they're paying for that they don't need. Maybe it's a gym membership, maybe it's a magazine prescription. Does anybody do those anymore? It could be some kind of fee like that. Plus, you'll probably notice, being a location independent person or a digital nomad, you may not have the need for a vehicle. So that would save you probably a lot of money right there if you're able to unload your vehicle, or at the very least, park it somewhere safe and secure and reduce to storage insurance. You'll save on insurance, you'll save on gas, on maintenance, and all kinds of expenses, right? So if you can just find a meaningful way to reduce your expenses, and maybe that looks like getting rid of your car, maybe that looks like selling your house, or that just means perhaps using Airbnb or some kind of rental service to manage tenants and renting your house out to cover the expenses, so that your obligations are reduced to the bare minimum. You're probably not going to get to zero, but depending on your lifestyle choices. But if you can get your expenses to near zero, you are going to improve your chances of success. There's all kinds of ways to reduce your expenses in a meaningful way, and I'm constantly posting content about that for those of you who are traveling on a budget or want to be a digital nomad more on a budget. And when you're first starting out, typically that is the case for a lot of people. So number one, reduce your bills. Number two, develop skills and work as to work as a digital nomad or a remote worker. There are free options like YouTube videos, and you can pay for an online course. I'm constantly publishing free YouTube videos for yourself on this very channel right here, digitalnomadjourney.com. There's all kinds of resources that you can access for free. I've learned of software programmers that learn how to code by watching free videos on YouTube. It's amazing in this day and age. Here, at the time of this recording, it's July 2020, and you can go onto a free platform and you can develop a brand new skill set that will command a high wage, a high income skill set by watching free videos. Now, the risk that you run by going that route, though, is it tends to take you a little bit longer to develop the necessary skills, because it's easy to get distracted and get pulled over here and get pulled over there. You're not always learning exactly what you need at exactly the time you need to learn it, which is why a lot of professionals out there will recommend a paid course. If you're paying for a program or an online course, or even some kind of remote learning through a university or college, there will be a set curriculum that should be proven. I say should be because it depends on what you're looking at, obviously, and what kind of skill set you're trying to develop here. But number one, reduce those bills. Number two, how are you going to deliver value to the market? How are you going to bring value to an employer or a client so that they are going to compensate you in a fair manner, so that you're going to receive in dollars, euros, pounds, and be able to sustain your lifestyle traveling around the world and doing whatever you want, wherever you want, with who you want, and live that wonderful freedom of choice lifestyle, how you want. That was the one I was missing, right? So number two, develop those skills. There's no excuse these days on being able to develop virtual skills. At least that's my belief. I'm generalizing again when I say that, but it is truly my belief that in this day and age, with more and more knowledge workers popping up in all kinds of industries, you can get into marketing, you can get into e-commerce, you can get into programming, you can get into so many different industries that require you to bang on a keyboard, do some graphic design, do some voiceover work, get a microphone and do some voiceover work. There's so many ways to get work. I've published lots of content on my social media platforms and this YouTube channel on where to go for remote jobs. And I've even published a lot of content on the markets that are booming right now and are expected to boom in the coming days. So if you're watching the recorded version of this, I'll be sure to include, where am I? Ah, there we go. It's mirrored. I'll be sure to include some cards up here. I'll include the video I made on how to get remote work, and I'll include the card in the 14 top booming markets right now, because that is really valuable information, and I highly recommend you to watch that. In fact, it might even be so important for you to stop watching this right now and go over there and watch that right now instead, because there's some really valuable information in those videos. Number three, decide on a destination. And it's okay if that destination is your home office for now, or your bedroom, or your living room, what have you. But use a dream location to help motivate you, inspire you to take action now, because I get it. Change is necessary. Change can be uncomfortable, and that's the whole point. You want, if you're not happy with your current situation, it's only prudent to understand, it's sensible to understand that it's your current level of thinking that got you to where you are right now. So if you're looking to become a digital nomad, if you're looking to be that remote professional, it might be time for you to develop a brand new skill set. And if you're on lockdown, or if you're like me and you're flying somewhere and you're going to be in self-isolation for 2 weeks, I do plan on getting a lot of work done during those 2 weeks, but if you're going to be in self-isolation for 2 weeks, what better time is there if you're quarantined, if you're segregated off and you can't go anywhere, what better time is there to take an online course, watch some YouTube videos, and develop a new skill set that will improve your life in a measurable way? And sometimes we need that little kick in the butt. Sometimes we need that little motivation. And so look at the map, do a little dream building, and figure out what parts of the globe that you would love to go to when the world opens up again. This is right now. Social distancing is beginning to relax. It depends on where you are in the world. Some places are experiencing these second spikes with COVID, and other places are deemed safe. But the point is that eventually the world will reopen again, even if it does. The new normal will look a little bit differently. And you'll be glad, you'll be patting yourself on the back saying, yeah, I prepared during quarantine. I learned this new amazing skill, and now I have a remote job. Excuse me, now I have these clients that pay me to work on my laptop or do some recording on a microphone. With a small investment in some basic equipment, you'll be able to bring value in a virtual way. Number 4, set some goals, create a plan. I'm a big fan of the saying here: if you plan to fail, if you fail to plan, you plan to fail. You want to set yourself up for success and actually set maybe some 30, 60, 90-day goals, and then track your progress. Figure out where you are at the end of the 30 days, the 60 days, the 90 days. Figure out where you're ahead and where you're falling behind. There's different ways to hold yourself accountable for this. You can get an accountability buddy where you set a plan to call each other every morning at 8 o'clock and divulge what you plan on getting done that day. And then later on at the end of the day, you have to jump on the phone again at 4 p.m., 5 p.m. and share and reveal that you got all your tasks done. And if you didn't get all your tasks done, you'll have to explain why. And there's that uncomfortable feeling when you have to explain why you didn't get done what you said you were going to do. For some reason, the way the human mind is wired, we find ourselves more accountable when we're accountable to someone else versus accountable to no one else. Because when you set goals for yourself and you don't achieve them, no one will know. No one will find that out, right? But when you vocally tell someone, or publicly declare it to your family, your friends, your network, then all of a sudden now you have that added oomph. Now you have that added push, that added desire to accomplish and get yourself done. So hack your mind, hack your productivity so that you set yourself up for success. You don't have to chat with your accountability buddy every day. It could be a weekly thing too. It could be a group of accountability buddies, maybe a mastermind. I've been a part of the same mastermind for almost 3 years now, and I absolutely love that mastermind. I attribute most of the success I've achieved just by being in that mastermind for the last 3 years. It's incredible. We're an incredible group of like-minded people, but we all have our own specialties, and we all support each other and lean on each other when times get tough, because you have to anticipate those times will get tough. But again, setting those goals, creating a plan will help you stay the course even when life throws at you that curveball and it's a little bit difficult to find that desire to take the next step forward. Okay, number 5. Love this one. Join a digital nomad community. I've included a link for the Digital Nomad Journey Telegram community down in the description below. Make sure you check that out. If you're on Telegram, you can join us and join the conversation there. Also, this week, just a couple days ago, I posted a fantastic interview with Benedict, Bene, the Nomad Coach. And she's building an incredible community on Facebook, and I highly recommend you go check out that community as well. They're not only a community of digital nomads, but they're wellness professionals on top of that. So, and we had a great chat. I'll make sure to include that in the card up here for you as well if you're watching the recorded version of this. It's a great interview, and she blew me away. She has a wealth of knowledge. She's been a digital nomad or a nomad, I should say, for like something around 18 years. And on top of that, she's a career coach. So it doesn't matter what kind of question you go to her, she's going to be able to help you out. I had a good time picking her brain and asking her all kinds of questions. So you want to check out that interview too. So join a community, because you're going to find yourself leaning on people who are a little further ahead of yourself. And there's something about surrounding yourself with like-minded people. You know, birds of a feather flock together. You know, you're the average of the 5 people you spend most of your time with. If you want to become a digital nomad, then you should join a community of digital nomads, right? Doesn't that make sense? If you want to get in better shape, you're going to perhaps join a fitness club, or hire a fitness trainer, or go to the gym. You're just going to go to the gym, and then you're going to be naturally surrounded by all these fitness enthusiasts, right? Birds of a feather flock together, and naturally your fitness program will improve, and your physique will improve, and your health will improve. So it's something to keep in mind. I wrote a book. I wrote a book called Digital Nomad Lifestyle Guide. Go check it out. Go to digitalnomadjourney.com/free book. I published it actually during the COVID-19 pandemic. It was one of my goals. It was one of my goals to write a book this year in 2020. And got it done, but the pandemic had already started, so I had to go back and rewrite the book because it didn't make any sense anymore. And I rewrote the book, and I just didn't feel right charging for it, because I want to help. I just feel compelled to help, and I know I have a lot of expertise and knowledge in this area. I'm committed to build the YouTube channel even further, to get more experts like Benedict on the YouTube channel, to provide even more interviews, do more product reviews. And gee, sometimes it's just hard to find the time in the day, because I just enjoy creating this content so much, because I know how valuable it is. I didn't have a book like this or a YouTube channel like this when I became a digital nomad 2 years ago. I just kind of jumped in the fire with 2 feet, and you know, I made a lot of mistakes, and I learned a lot from those mistakes, and I probably should have done a little bit of homework ahead of time. So get your hands on this free book and share the link with anyone that you know that it'll help as well. I'm committed to going live every week. It might change the number of times every week because of my plans. Next week I'm going on a big flight, and I got some major travel plans next week, so I'm not going to be able to go live as often. But you can always find me on YouTube, and you can drop your questions in the live chat. You can leave your questions in the comment section below. And if you're here live, you can, if you have anything to say, you can say it to me. Give me a shout out right now. Otherwise, I'll probably wrap things up. I hope you found these 5 tips helpful. And maybe it's not a quick way to become a digital nomad, but it really is the best and easiest way to become a digital nomad. And if I can add one last thing, I would like to say that if you're looking for something more specific, because like, great, Andrew, yeah, those 5 tips are awesome, but I just I don't feel like that's going to really help me right now. Tell me specifically what to do. And I mean, everything's subjective, right? It depends on your personal set of skills, your goals, your aspirations. And because I can't have a real conversation with you and sit down and identify those variables, it's hard to give you more specific answers. However, I will say this: get a remote job. Don't worry about going anywhere right now. Get a remote job. Work for that company for a year. And then come back to this video, or come back to these 5 steps, and just go through those 5 steps, and then boom, you'll be a digital nomad in no time. If you already have a remote job, then great, you're ahead of the game. And if you don't have a remote job, well, that's your assignment. Start looking into companies that are hiring remote. And if you don't yet have a skill set that allows you to deliver value in a virtual way, then that's your first thing to do right now. Start learning how to do a bit of a side hustle and develop that new skill. There are more companies today looking for remote workers than any time before. And these companies are desperate for good people. Now is the time to step up, maybe expand that comfort zone. It's not going to feel great. You're going to have to go through that suck period. So did I. I've been there. It doesn't feel great going through the suck period. You're going to step up, you're going to raise your game, raise your level, and you're going to find a way to bring value in a virtual and digital way. And I promise you, you'll be so glad you did. You'll look back on yourself a year earlier, 2 years earlier, and you're going to be like me, and you're going to say, wow, where would I be right now had I not had the guts, had I not had the confidence to take that first step? I know that's how I feel right now. And these digital nomads and remote workers, that whole segment was able to handle the drastic changes in the marketplace more resiliently than someone who's location-based, because of the nature of our job, because of the nature of the way we produce an income. Can you imagine if your current location was no longer favorable, no longer safe? Can you imagine just folding up your laptop, grabbing your loved ones, grabbing your bare necessities, and then leaving, flying somewhere, taking the car, grabbing a bus, grabbing a train, and getting to safety, getting somewhere that's away from a virus, away from a riot, away from danger. And when the marketplace is a little chaotic, like it has been over the last few months, it's these remote workers that were more resilient, thinking, well, nothing really changed for us. And now employers are realizing that they're actually mitigating their risk by having a remote workforce, because now they're able to sustain some systemic pandemic or or a natural disaster or what have you. I don't want to scare you, but now employers, firms, companies, enterprises, they're now aware for the first time that if they have to bring staff into a central location, that now represents a risk. Not only does it represent a risk, but it's more expensive. You got Twitter, Facebook, Walmart, you got all these huge medium and small size companies that have now realized they can continue operations with a fully remote or a partial remote workforce. So the way forward here, I posted today on my social media that Simon Sinek posted a great video on his YouTube channel, stating that he foresees a future that's a hybrid model, because at the end of the day, we're human beings are social creatures, and I believe with him on this. I believe him in his outlook on the world, because we are social creatures. We do crave that collaboration, that in-person energy. So a lot of companies are probably going to be considering this hybrid model where you'll have a co-working space or some kind of central office space where everyone can converge for those projects or those assignments that require that instant, hey, let's write on the board and brainstorm some stuff. But then the majority of the time, the 4 days of the week, the 3 days of the week, or what have you, the 3 weeks of the month, you'll be able to work from home or work from the beach or work from the cabin in the woods. Work it from wherever you want, because employers are realizing that they're saving a ton of money on commercial real estate. Employees, freelancers, entrepreneurs, they're getting a ton of benefit as well. They're actually having a lot more work-life balance. They're spending way less money on travel, on food, on clothing, business wear, and they're getting more time with their pets, more time with their loved ones, and things are just a lot more convenient. Life becomes more convenient. You can start fitting work around life instead of trying to squeeze in life around your work. So I hope you found this video helpful. My name is Andrew. This is Digital Nomad Journey, and you'll find me on these live stream Q&A sessions every week, 3 to 1 times depending on the week. So I apologize for the inconsistency. However, I will constantly shoot to be live for you at 4 p.m. UK time. That's 11 a.m. Eastern, 8 a.m. Pacific. I appreciate you for being here. Thanks for watching all the way to the end. And if you are watching the recorded version of this video, you might want to check out these YouTube videos, since they might prove to be helpful for you as well. Own the day, make it yours. Take care.